all my previous skills was just limited to the oil and gas industry. I wanted skills that can build a long-term career for myself.
Robogarden has given me the opportunity to get back in and start learning the current technologies.
The way the world is moving, we're being bombarded with information. And if you have an understanding of even how information is being used on the back end of something, you'll understand the world better.
This is where industry is going, and I felt like in order for me to go back to the industry or do something different, I need to have a new skill set.
It has been a wonderful experience. I get to connect with the right people, and they help me advance my skills.
What I like about this boot camp, I have same-minded people that we all believe that data analytics and machine learning is part of our industry now, and we have to incorporate that with our domain expertise.
I know that I can use data science skills in many industries.
It's been a lot of fun. The people in the course are great. There's certainly been a lot of care provided to ensure that we can succeed, right? Lots of TA help, lots of instructor help. I'm really happy with that.
Everybody should learn how to code, because I think it's the future. Even nobody, if you are a doctor, an engineer, a scientist, I don't know, even a mechanic.
Take that risk. It was worth it. It's a wonderful learning experience, so I encourage you to go for it.
I think it's worth the shot. You should go try it.
They definitely exceeded my expectation.
All right, everybody, thank you very much for joining us here at Robogarden. Thank you for joining us along with our partners at Western University Continuing Studies and University of Calgary Continuing Education. My name is Stephen McKenzie. I am the Business Development Manager and Digital Skills Operation Lead at Robogarden, based here in beautiful Calgary, Alberta, and I'm very glad to be hosting today's free Digital Skills Development course. We're truly connecting East and West and meeting a massive demand for full stack development skills as we deliver these digital skill development programs designed to help you access the thousands of well-paid, future-proof employment openings in Canada for those with the skills taught in this program, or unlocking global entrepreneurial opportunities for those who have the mindset to build something new for themselves. You will love being in demand. The video you just saw includes testimonials from members of our first Digital Skills Bootcamp cohort. All completed the program and are now contributing in various ways to digital transformation initiatives here in Calgary. We hope their descriptions and enthusiasm regarding their experience helped you determine your next step towards participation in Canada's rapidly growing technology sector. This program was offered in class pre-pandemic. We're excited to show you how we've adjusted and innovated for this new era of safe from home, online, instructor-led learning. A bit of housekeeping to begin. Please note this program is recorded and your contact information is held by the partner you registered with for this session. If you registered with Western, they maintain your contact info. If you registered with University of Calgary, they maintain your info. Robogarden does not access or keep any registration data. The recording will be posted for additional watching on each delivery partner's web portal shortly. If you are having technical issues related to this presentation, please email webinars, WEBINARS, at Robogarden, all one word, ROBOGARDEN.ca. We are monitoring the mailbox and will reply right away. Regarding the communication during this presentation, please use the Q&A function you will see on the Zoom bar between participants and chat. Teams from Western University Continuing Studies and University of Calgary Continuing Education are monitoring the Q&A and will answer any questions specifically related to each partner. Robogarden is also monitoring the Q&A to answer any technical questions. Finally, we will flag a few questions that have wide relevance during the live Q&A section at the end of tonight's program. Monitoring the Q&A from Robogarden is First Digital Skills Bootcamp cohort grad, professional data analyst and Robogarden instructor, Nicole Woodland, and also our president and founder, Dr. Mohammed Al-Habibi. Monitoring the Q&A from Western Continuing Studies is Program Manager Christine Welton, and from University of Calgary Continuing Education, VK Liao, Senior Program Manager. Thanks everybody for helping out. And now tonight's instructor, Jordan Dirksen, will present the lesson. Then I will return to answer those flag chat questions. Jordan?
Thank you so much. Just to introduce myself quickly, I'm Jordan Dirksen. I am an instructor here at Robogarden. I'm also a full-time full-stack web developer. I work in oil and gas in Calgary, and I also freelance when I have time between instructing and working full-time. I'll be directing today's sample lesson, and I'll just share my screen and start that. So right now we're just looking at the Robogarden platform of what you see when you first log in, and we see the courses that I'm registered for here. And along the bottom, we have all of the modules. So we're in the full stack development course, and I see a bunch of modules along the bottom. And today's sample lesson will be from single page web applications. Once you go into a module, we see submodules along the left-hand side. And inside of each submodule, there is a bunch of activities, including lessons and quizzes and various missions like emulators and editors to allow you to hone your skills. The sample lesson I'll be giving today is getting started with Angular. Before we can get started with Angular, I'm just going to give a quick introduction to what a single page web application is. Mostly everyone is familiar with a regular website, which are usually multi-page applications. You click on a link and the entire page goes away for a second and the new content is loaded and you kind of get that brief white flash. With a single page web application, such as what I'm logged into right here, when you navigate between views, only the portion that's relevant to reload swaps in and out of the application. This allows for much better user experience, and it's extremely popular these days to build single page web applications. So getting started with Angular. The Angular framework is a JavaScript front-end framework, which comes with a bunch of files and rules that provide us a foundation to start on. When we create our Angular project, we'll find our project folder with a bunch of files that help us get started. Angular is extremely popular. I use it full-time, and I use it for my independent client projects. It's probably one of the most popular front-end frameworks, and it's a technology maintained by Google, so very large technology, a lot of demand for it. In order to get started with Angular, we need to install Node. Node is software that allows JavaScript to run locally on your computer. Otherwise, usually JavaScript can just run inside of a browser context. We can download Node from nodejs.org. And any of the LTS or long-term support versions are generally best, so Windows, Mac, or if you want to build it yourself from source code. Now, I already have Node installed, but once you were to run the installer, just like installing any other program, we can just do a quick sanity check to make sure everything's working with node -v, which shows that I'm running version 14.15.0. which is one subversion behind the most recent. When you install Node, you also get NPM, which stands for Node Packet Manager. And I can check the version of NPM with the npm -v command. These two projects install together, but they are actually maintained separately by different groups. In order to get started with Angular, we need to install an Angular package, the Angular command line interface. And we can use the Node Package Manager to install the Angular CLI or Angular command line interface. Now, generally this command would take a little bit of time to run, but I already have Angular installed on this computer. So it's just going to quickly check to make sure everything is still there and up to date. And after that, I can type ng -- version, and I get this printout which shows that I'm running, shows what version of Angular CLI I'm running and all the various developing tools that come with Angular. Now we want to build our first application, and we can do this with the command ng new. Once we type ng new, it starts asking us questions about our project. So I'm going to name our project sample app, and everything else I'm just going to leave default because it's out of the scope of today. Once we finish executing all these commands and naming our application and answering the various other questions, Node starts, or more specifically, the Angular command line interface starts actually building our application and downloading all of the necessary files to allow us to develop. So that's going into this folder right here. And we see all of the contents of this folder is being created right now through the command I just ran. And the majority of what we're waiting for is this node modules folder to download and populate. We see that there's a ton of files in here that support us in our development, and that needs to exist before we can start developing. Now that our project has finished generating, I can move into this directory, and I can run the command ng serve -o, and the -o stands for open because I want to serve the application and I want to open it up in my browser immediately. And now we're just going to wait for the Angular command line interface to build our entire project, compile everything, and get it ready to display and test in the browser. And we see as soon as it finishes downloading, we get this nice little welcome page. This web page is running locally off my computer, as we can see from the local host in the URL bar. And in this little sample application that comes by default when we generate a new app in Angular, we have this little useful next steps section, which allows us to navigate between the various things we can do to generate more code. It just provides a little bit of a hint of where you can go. And also links directly to the Angular documentation and some further Angular tutorials. Now I'm going to be opening up this project inside of Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is a free IDE or integrated developing environment provided by Microsoft, which allows us to develop many applications, but obviously in this case, we are going to still be in Angular. I'm going to serve the application again, which is going to be much faster the second time around because it doesn't have to compile everything because it's just done that. And here's our application again. Looking at what makes up an Angular application, so all these are the files that generated when we ran the new project command. All the files in the root of our project are various settings and configurations for our project, such as the project name and what libraries we're using. Inside of this source folder is where our actual application starts to get made up. And today we're just going to be inside of the app component. A component is basically a reusable chunk of code that comes with a template and some logic that you can snap in anywhere to your Angular application. And if I go to app.component.html, I see all of this code that was here. This is actually what makes up the welcome page when we first launched the application. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this and delete it. Just make it so you can see both screens at the same time here. And watch what happens when I save this file. I save, the Angular CLI immediately recognizes the difference between what was there and what I've done. It recompiles the necessary files and immediately renders the new application without us having to recompile each time. This is probably one of my favorite features of Angular because I'm working on a lot of projects. I'm very busy all day, and using some older technologies, sometimes it's a pain in the butt because you make a change, You have to compile, you have to wait for that process, and the whole debugging, testing process can just take so long, whereas just having the application reload the specific parts you're working on as you work on it is extremely helpful. So I'm just going to type some code here into my template and save it, just this hello world, and we see it come out immediately. Angular is what we call an MVC framework, or Model View Controller. And the idea behind this MVC framework is that we have a model, a view, and a controller. The model is the actual data we're representing, which in this little application, I don't have any data yet. The view is the HTML or the template, what we're actually displaying to the user, which is generally going to be displaying some data to them. And then the controller, which is where we'll put all our logic about how this data should be displayed. So the view in our Angular application is the HTML file. The controller in our application is the TypeScript file. And then if we were connecting to a database, we would have the actual model at some point as well. So here I have predefined a property called title, and I'm just going to change it. It said sample app 1 word, now it's 2 words. And I'm just going to display this title. And this is just one of the many ways we could get data from our controller to our view. We have some property and we want to have it directly into our application. So I can use the string interpolation and get it right there. In our component file, we're also pointing to a CSS file. This is our styles, and that is this file right here. So again, if you're familiar with a little bit of HTML and CSS, the CSS is where we actually define how our application looks. So I can say that this heading 1 that right now says hello world, I want it to be color green. And when I save, we see that that change is made immediately. After each lesson in self-study time on the Robogarden platform, there's lots of opportunities to work through various emulators or quizzes or editors, all these different missions to reiterate what you've gone over in the course or during the study time. So here's just an example of one of the emulator missions. It gives us a little bit of code and 4 options for us to figure out what correctly produces this output. And this is an emulator mission because both our answers and the correct answer are running in a little virtual device. So what I have here is a class which defines the size of a bag as a number and the color of the bag as a string. And then we're just storing this data to some properties. And we want the code that makes it so the laptop's going to display 10 pink female. So all of this code is very similar, but each one has its own error. In this one, I see my issue is that I have 10, which is supposed to be a number, but it's inside of quotes. So we can't store a string into a number field. So this would produce an error and not give us our correct output. In this example code, we are getting in the size, color, and gender into the constructor, but I'm only setting the gender and I'm not passing the other 2 properties up to our superclass. So this would just print out female to the screen and the other data would just be missing. The issue we have on this question is right here in the first line. We're saying the class backpacks implements bag, but that's not the correct verbiage to use here. We're supposed to be extending the bag. And that leaves us with our one last answer, which is creating a backpack class, which is a subtype of bags. The backpack has an additional property that bag doesn't have. It has the gender property. And it has a constructor which takes in the size, color, and gender. It then passes the size and color to our superclass, where it is set in those properties, sets the gender in this object, and then displays this out into the screen where we would see the 10 pink female. So that's my answer. I'm confident. When I run the code, it shows my code running next to the desired code output. And then shows me that I got my answer correct and a little explanation. Obviously, the explanation is more helpful if you've incorrectly answered the question. We give you some hints as to what you've done incorrectly. Finally, at the end of every module, we have many, many projects. Just at the end of every week, we have many, many projects for you to work on. Some of the mini projects are tiny self-contained projects like one we'll be doing right now, and some of them are accumulative projects that build on knowledge from previous modules. So the mini project I'll be showing an example of today is this create a greeting application, which wants us to create an application that says welcome to Angular and then your name. So I'm just going to close the previous project I had open. And we're going to start following the instructions to complete this mini project. Our first step is to create a new Angular project using the relevant command. Well, we know how to do that already. It's ng new and then the name of our application. In this case, we're going to say greeting app. I'm going to keep all the other settings as default. And while we wait for this to generate, we're going to review the rest of what this mini project's asking from us. Inside of our TypeScript file, it wants us to add a property called student name and set it to the name of a student. We're going to be changing the title property of the TypeScript file to the string value Angular. Inside the app components HTML file, we're going to add the name of the student to the h1 tag. And then we're going to change the color of the h1 tag to this hex color code. We're then going to be serving the application to view the results. Our project just finished generating, so I'm going to open it up inside of Visual Studio Code. And follow the rest of these steps. So inside of our app component TypeScript file, we're creating a property called student name, and I'll set it equal to my name. And we're changing the title property, which is right here, to Angular. In our HTML file, we'll be creating our heading 1 that says, welcome to title, student name, and I'll be serving the application. Now, while we wait for this application to serve, I'm going to move on to the step 6 here, which is adding the CSS color. And again, this is one of the things I love about Angular, the fact that everything's asynchronous. I can have the app compiling, which is a lengthy process. And while it does that, I can continue to develop and I don't have to sit there waiting for one process to stop in order to move on to the next part of my development cycle. So I set the color of the heading and just in time for the application to finish launching. And now we have Welcome to Angular, Jordan, where the data is being set in our TypeScript file. We're defining a template with our HTML, and we're defining our style in the CSS file. At this point, we would generally upload our project to GitHub and then submit the link here so it can be reviewed by an instructor. However, we're not going to be uploading to GitHub today, but there is something else I want to talk about in this application, which is if I look at the size of the application folder in general, we have created 55,734 files at almost half a gigabyte to create this application, which is obviously ridiculously large for a website. And we can build the application with the ng command build. Sorry, type up my part. Ng build, and then we can pass in the parameter prod -- prod. So we're building the application for a production environment, and this is going to compile just the this is going to compile just the files needed for our application to work. Everything that's in this folder is what we need to develop, but we don't need all of these files to actually deploy our application. In this distribution folder, these 7 files are all we actually need in order to deploy our application. There's a lot more files here as the application gets larger, but this is a very small project, so there's not a lot to the application. And the size of these files only comes out to 152 kilobytes. So although it feels like you're building this massive project, you're not actually deploying all that. Additionally, this distribution folder and the node modules folder are actually not needed to be stored along with the project either. These can be deleted, and I often delete these folders between working on projects because they take up a lot of room and they sit there doing nothing if I'm not actually actively developing. And we have a file in here called package.json, and this actually defines what's making up that node modules folder. And our angular.json file tells us all of the rules for building. So it can be a little, it feels a little silly at first when you're deleting half a gigabyte of your project and the remaining size of the project is only a few megabytes. But we can get that folder. I just deleted back right away. So now we see our project was almost half a gigabyte. Now we're just under a megabyte. But if I wanted to start working on this project sometime down the road, client has a new requirement, I just type npm install. It looks at this package.json file, and it re-downloads this node modules folder and all of its contents. And then once the command is finished running, we're ready to start developing again. This completes the sample lesson and provides you with a good idea of what to expect as you prepare for digital economy success in this digital skills development bootcamp presented by the Western University Continuing Studies and University of Calgary Continuing Education powered by Robogarden. Stephen, back over to you for the next part of our program.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jordan. That was a terrific sample lesson. For all in attendance, we hope that offers an understanding of how Jordan and our education team instructs and delivers program content via the innovative Robogarden platform that ensures successful online learning outcomes with the flexibility and safety of learning from home. We are now going to answer some commonly asked questions and questions from the chat that we think is relevant to all attendees. Before I tackle these questions, I will ask that when you leave tonight's session, please complete the survey that will pop up when you click leave. It is anonymous and made via Zoom webinar, not Google Forms. And now question number 1. Why choose Robogarden powered programs presented by Western and Calgary? If your dreams of digital economy success include designing and building web pages and apps for mobile devices with the latest methods, tools, engagement solutions, and design trends, you've come to the right place at the right time. Robogarden, along with two of the consistently highest ranking universities in Canada, are committed to ensuring you will complete this course with the full stack development skills that businesses and organizations of all sizes demand. By learning with Robogarden and our partners, you will unlock your hidden talents to allow you to build dynamic, attractive, e-commerce ready web pages and mobile apps that will put you on the cutting edge and provide opportunities in the tech sector as organizational staff or as a freelancer consultant. Another question we often receive is, can anyone succeed in this program? Here at Robogarden and with our partners, we have designed this program for anyone with a basic level of technology integration in their lives. That's defined as use a computer, use a mobile device, access the internet, and perform searches. In short, access to computers, mobile devices, and fast connectivity as part of day-to-day life creates a foundation for success in a Robogarden-powered digital skills bootcamp. You don't need to be a computer whiz, a mathematician, a numbers person, or have any additional technical skills at the start of this program beyond how to search the internet, either from a computer-based browser or a mobile device. A question directly from the Q&A has come up. How do we enroll into these modules? If you mean by enrolling into the modules, you mean the complete course, then you should contact representatives either from Western University Continuing Studies or University of Calgary Continuing Education to further learn how to register through them for this program. If you are asking about individual modules within the program, once you are registered in the Digital Skills Bootcamp, you have access to all of the modules within the program. So each of the modules that we present during these series of free courses, along with the remaining modules that make up the entirety of the bootcamp, are available to you once you have registered and opened your account with either of our presenting partners. Another question we often receive is, how is this program unique? What makes these programs presented by Western University Continuing Studies and University of Calgary Continuing Education unique is that they are truly designed from the ground up for those with only a basic level of technical proficiency, developed easily just by interacting with the technology common in our day-to-day lives. Implementing elements of gamification or game-based learning that will create engagement and excitement as you progress, leveraging success already established in building globally recognized digital skills programs, reviewed by the adult learning professionals at University of Calgary Continuing Education, and supported by an expert team of instructors, teaching assistants, and industry contributors. Robogarden-powered digital skills bootcamps ensure expected learning outcomes are achieved for all who enter the program. How will I get to work with my new skills? We are often asked this question, and it is a very important question to ask as you consider investing in a digital skills program. You want to know, how will you start generating income with your new skills? Robogarden has completed 2 cohorts of the Digital Skills Bootcamp, with cohorts 3 and 4 now underway, and our methods for ensuring graduates are able to quickly realize income generating opportunities with their new skills have proven effective. There are 2 directions you may take with your new skills. You may believe you are more of an organizational staff type worker. You like the stability, the schedule, the access to resources, the teamwork aspect of full stack development in an organizational setting. Because of the continuing explosion of demand in Canada for internal staff with these skills, you've chosen well for this type of work. Robogarden powered bootcamps help you access this work in 3 ways. By implementing real-world projects in the program that you will display to potential employers during an interview process to prove your skills. Second, Robogarden-powered bootcamps introduce networking opportunities with industry professionals to ensure you can seek and have direct access to employment opportunities. Third, Robogarden-powered programs integrate resume and career development modules focused on the tech sector, so you will stand out in any interview process both with your work and your understanding of the industry. A second direction you may choose is one where you may believe you are more of an independent worker, interested in maximum work-life flexibility, perhaps an entrepreneur interested in growing and managing a business. Because of the global demand for freelancer consulting work related to full-stack development, this is the right program to enter that realm. Robogarden-powered programs help you achieve this goal in 3 ways. We teach you how to find and use online portals for paid full-stack developer projects. With small, medium, and large projects available to bid on, you will quickly progress your skills by completing small projects at first and gradually growing your skills and revenue with the size of the opportunity. Complete real-world projects during the digital skills program that you will use in your portfolio as you enter the world of competing for projects. And third, access to Canada-based instructors and TAs who perform freelance consulting work in full-stack development to offer examples and answer questions as you pursue this path. And of course, there's nothing stopping you from choosing both paths. Completing small freelance projects while you perform an internal role for an organization is a great way to practice your skills and improve your organizational value while providing a secondary income source. One of the questions we receive most often, and is one that is going to be of significant importance to you as you consider a digital skills bootcamp, is why are Robogarden powered programs priced lower than others in the marketplace? It's a legitimate question as to how Robogarden powered programs can be offered to the market at a significant discount versus competitor offerings. If you do your research, you will find programs of similar length and similar content, sometimes offered in partnership with universities, sometimes not, priced at double the cost of the programs powered by Robogarden and presented by Western Continuing Studies and University of Calgary Continuing Education. Here at Robogarden, we have been very fortunate to receive support from Canadian provincial governments and the Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science and Industry, along with a successful business offering digital skills programs to young learners internationally that allows us to invest in these programs without having to recoup costs the way other providers do. In short, this means we can offer these programs to you at a higher quality due to our adult education partners, with higher industry relevance due to our educational team's software development world experience and expertise, with a higher expected achievement of learning outcomes, leveraging latest generation instructional design methodology at half the cost you will see from digital skill development program providers across Canada. Another question we often are asked is why should someone choose Robogarden powered programs versus the free digital skill development courses offered across the internet? This is a very important question and one to consider, but one that has what you may consider to be a very common sense answer. As a software development firm with staff who have leveraged both bootcamp programs and free online courses, the answer is you get what you pay for. Free online courses are great for those who already have skills and understanding in this area, and we encourage you throughout the program to access the massive amount of free material available for those pursuing full-stack development skills. However, these free courses are offered by anyone. In many cases, they are not vetted. They are of various quality, accuracy, effectiveness, and relevance. You need skills just to take the course in the method it is offered. Then you must follow the content that is usually aimed at those with a pre-existing full-stack skill set. By investing in Robogarden-powered programs presented by Western University Continuing Studies and University of Calgary Continuing Education, you will receive a curated educational experience built for learners at the lower end of technology comfort and experience, designed by Canadian adult education experts, supported by instructors and TAs who not only teach digital skills, but also apply them in income-generating activity. On completion, as you continue to develop your skills, you will be able to access and benefit from free courses. But as a beginner with little or no background in this area, making an investment first will give much higher returns as you evolve with your new skills. A new question has arrived into the Q&A. How much time per day should a student expect to spend on the program? Is it reasonable to think a person can do the course and work full-time or part-time at the same time? I can answer that question. And I am going to show you graphically exactly what to expect from a day in the life of a Robogarden Bootcamp. You will see here we've broken out one of the 8 learning weeks within the digital skills program. And you will see that we are running live sessions in this scenario from 5:30 p.m. until 10:30 p.m. So you will see that a live session day consists of bootcamp work, instructional hours, and TA hours. And then there is also the need for you to do self-study to progress your skills as you move through the program. So in a given week, we ask you to commit 50 hours to the program. And so we ask for 5 days a week of 5 hours in the evening, of 4 days during the week with 5 hours in the evening, 1 day on the weekend with 5 hours of learning, and then also time to do self-study. So depending on your schedule and your obligations, you may be able to fit this into a full-time position. If not, please keep in mind and keep in touch with your local continuing studies or continuing education department, as there will be full part-time programs coming online in the future. Okay, so that looks like the end of the questions we have for today. So with this last time that we have, I would like you to take you through a presentation that further breaks down the Robogarden Bootcamp that is offered by Western Continuing Studies and the University of Calgary Continuing Education. The following time will be spent providing information regarding this program that you can use as you make your decision regarding the digital skills program that you will pursue. So we are starting off here with a schedule of the full 11 weeks of the program. You will see that weeks 1 to 8 are learning weeks, where you are committed to acquiring all of the learning, the content, the projects, and all of the exercises that occur within the program. Weeks 9 and 10 are capstone project weeks. So that is where you work to build the project that will ultimately make up the first part of your portfolio and help lead the way towards your new career in the digital economy. In the last week of the program, we have our Learn to Earn section, where you work with resume builders, career experts, freelance content providers who can help you start gaining income in the digital economy, whether through organizational work or as a freelancer/entrepreneur. The team that makes up the Robogarden program is substantial and provides the support that you need in order to achieve the learning outcomes of this program. We have our instructors, such as Jordan and Nicole, and an expert team behind them who are digitally employed in the tech sector and who are experts in being able to deliver the content and explain the subject matter and make sure that you are able to achieve your goals in this program. Assisting the instructor are our live TAs, who you will get to know very well as you move through the program and will be part of the online instructor team. And then we also have our online TAs who are available to you outside of scheduled learning hours in order to help you as you go through your self-work or your homework, your self-study time, to make sure that you are able to progress through the program and complete the exercises, the content, the mini projects, and the other challenges that make up the program. We also introduce to you throughout the program industry speakers who are invited to join the program and speak to all of the participants regarding their experiences in the tech sector, what they see as the requirement for the skills that are taught in the program, how to apply skills that are taught in the program in the technology sector, and also how to market and network yourself as you look to achieve your goals upon completion of the program. Lastly, the team includes our career resume experts, our online and freelance work pursuit experts, and the rest of our team who is there to support you upon completion of the program to make sure you achieve your goals in organizational work or in freelancing consulting. And as we showed you previously, we have the breakdown of a single week in the program. So again, this helps you understand what is involved from a commitment perspective in order to ensure that you are able to successfully complete the program. Here we describe the full range and breadth of topics that are covered in the program. We start from the very basics with HTML5 Essentials, which are the very foundations of web page development. And through the 8 weeks, we take you all the way through to skills in deployment of apps and web pages, either onto the web or to one of the mobile stores, be it the iOS store or the Google Play Store, and through also to digital marketing of yourself and your content in order to display to you how web pages, apps, and other digital tools are used to create successful business outcomes. The Robogarden platform is the one-stop shop, the only place that you will need to go in order to successfully complete this program. We bring you onto the innovative Canadian-designed platform that ensures you have one place where you do all of your work, all of your practices, complete all of your projects, access the online video during live instructor and TA sessions, and also to complete your project and submit all of your work for completion. Robogarden will be the only place that you need to access in order to complete the program. And here we have a view of a page within the platform that demonstrates the learning environment. You will see it is extremely user-friendly, it is extremely well laid out, and you will quickly get comfortable as you move through the program and access the different sections to complete the content, the exercises, the mini projects, and the other challenges that await you as you begin your career in digital skills and full stack development. We also provide within the platform easy navigation, both to help you access support, to access to the virtual classroom through video and online sessions, to access your score, which I will explain in a minute, which is essentially our grading tool, and also to receive notifications and other information as you complete the program. In order to complete the program, we move you through a process where you complete all of the modules and you complete the individual exercises and the various challenges within each module. The minimum completion in order to pass the course is 80% of each module. We offer badges and badging as you move through the program to give you a good understanding of where you are in the development of your digital skills. Within the program and to complete the program, you will submit and present a capstone project. We do ask that you attend all of the sessions that are scheduled throughout the 8 learning weeks of the course. We do understand that people do have occasions that occur in their lives, and we can work with you in order to accept up to 4 absences. We can, if you are absent up to 4 times, we can work with you to complete the work. And of course, we do also understand, especially in these challenging times, that emergencies do occur, and we work with you to ensure that you are able to complete the program and to accommodate you as you also manage whatever may be going on in your life. Similar to a game-based environment that you may be very familiar with, in order to complete the program, we ask that you achieve XP points. So as you go through the content and you do exercises and challenges and mini projects and emulator sessions, you will gradually achieve the XP points that direct you towards completion of this digital skills program. You will then also receive the XP points in order when you submit and complete the capstone project. And then you also receive XP points when you complete the final Learn to Earn week. And the goal to complete the Robogarden program at an expert level is 30,000 XP points. Before I jump into this next slide, I'm going to answer another question from the Q&A. One of our attendees asked, what kind of income could a student expect to earn after graduation? That's always an interesting question and a little bit difficult to answer. I would encourage you to research the income that is expected for a junior software developer or junior web developer. These are the types of positions that graduates of the program are able to enter upon completion of the program. There can be a wide range of salaries available to that type of position. However, you'll find that there are a great number of those types of positions available. Those positions are available across Canada. They are in great demand. They are often remote positions, which allows you to work from anywhere that you may be. And again, they are certainly the type of positions that are accessible to you if you are looking at organizational type employment upon completion of the program. As I mentioned also that there are abilities to engage in the freelancing and consulting world upon completion of the program. Our course does support you in moving your business development in that direction as well, whether that is the focus or whether that is looked at as a secondary source of income for you. So we certainly help you achieve the maximum income that is available upon completion of this course, and then also point you in the direction towards a future in the tech sector that will gradually become more and more lucrative as you progress, as you develop your skills, as you move from junior to intermediate to senior program developer, or move elsewhere in the technology sector where you can apply your skills and experience. So to come back to the presentation, what you will see is that we provide you with badges as you move through the program so that you have a good sense of where you are in your development as you progress. You start as a beginner, move through to junior, to intermediate, to senior level of program expertise, through advanced, and finally to champion when you maximize and complete all of the exercises, projects, emulators, capstone project, and the other XP point generating activities within the program. And you will see that throughout, we allow you to check in on your progress and see which badges you have achieved and how far you have to go to achieve the next goal and to complete the program. With that, that ends our presentation. And with the end of our presentation, we will bring this session to an end. Thank you all for registering. Thank you, Western University Continuing Studies and University of Calgary Continuing Education, and to Jordan and the team for supporting this evening's presentation. We will be back next Tuesday with the next session in our Digital Skills Free course series. Until then, if you have any questions regarding this digital skills development program, please contact Western University Continuing Studies or University of Calgary Continuing Education. Have a terrific rest of your evening and be safe. See you soon.